Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Nicole Riley. I work in the Philanthropy and Alumni Engagement Office here on campus. And today we have Lauren Perkle, our Philanthropy and Alumni Engagement Assistant, manning our camera. So I'd like to say thanks to Lauren. She's over there in the kitchen, and I'm jealous because she gets to smell all the good smells that are cooking up during this event. So today it's almost 50 degrees, one of the nicest days of the year so far in Rockford here. And I think the recipes that Chef Bryan has selected for today are very fitting for the wonderful weather that we're having. We'll have everybody muted throughout the event, but if you have any questions as we go throughout, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and we'll facilitate those questions. We want this to be conversational and fun for everybody. I'd also like to thank Chef Bryan and our partners here at Sodexo for bringing us together today through the opportunity to cook together and learn from Chef Bryan. So now a little bit about Chef Bryan. I know that some of you may already know this, but Chef Bryan went to culinary school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's still going with the Go Steelers, where he graduated from Pennsylvania Culinary Institute. He's been cooking professionally since 2003, and he started his career at the Arizona Biltmore Resort in Phoenix, Arizona after culinary school. He's been working at Sodexo since 2017. His favorite food to cook is anything barbecued, grilled, but he especially loves using one of his 3 smokers to smoke food. So I know that he's probably looking forward to doing that a little bit more now with this nicer weather. When he's not cooking, he enjoys spending time with his wife, 4 children, fishing, and hunting. His dream is to one day own his own farm. Thanks so much, Chef Bryan, and I'll throw it over to you.
I also have, which is another beautiful ingredient, is manchego cheese. Manchego cheese is a very, very great sheep's milk cheese that you can get. It's a harder cheese, so it can stand up to being on a skewer, and that's also, it can get a little crumbly as well. So this is a very well eating cheese, especially if you have a nice event that you want to do or something. Manchego cheese is really popular. And also we have olives. Not my favorite thing, but it goes really well with this recipe.
Chef Bryan, you've all been doing a lot at Sodexo to keep things fun for students and positive throughout the semester. Do you all have some new initiatives you want to speak to at all?
Oh yeah, well, recently, last Monday, we just had our Mardi Gras event that we had. We partnered with the campus activity board, and we had a Mardi Gras thing here. So they came in and they had these wall coverings, and it looked like we were on Bill Street in New Orleans. And they hung up lights, and we had beignets, we made jambalaya, we had 2 different kinds of gumbo, we did a shrimp boil. We had a live band on camp. A gentleman came here, a local artist from Rockford, was playing saxophone, and we were singing. It was just a great time. We had almost triple the amount of students and staff that we normally get on the evening. And nice. We got really rave reviews. So it was really very popular. Another popular thing that we've been doing is a Waffle Bar. So since we can't do self-made waffles and things like that, the students are missing those kinds of things. So what we've been doing is on our chef station. So I go out there and we're just making waffles to order. That gives me a chance to interact with the students, kind of see what the things that they're missing, gives me a chance to talk to them and see ways that we can incorporate what they're missing here on campus, even though we are in a COVID right now. Sure. Another thing we have coming up is going to be our Division 3, we're a D3 school. So we have D3 week coming up. So we're going to be doing a baseball themed event here in the cafeteria. So that'll be in April. So you can look forward to that coming up as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool that you're all doing that. Sure, it makes a difference for the students and having some fun things to look forward to.
Yeah, they really enjoy when we do these things for them. And you know, and it lets them know that we have not forgot about them.
Sure. Definitely important.
So I'm just going to slice up a few slices of this cheese here. Slice some chorizo. And I have my skewers here. So I'm going to put some olive down, cheese. And then skewer a couple pieces of chorizo on the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is just set it here on the plate that you're going to serve it on. And then I have some fresh, unfiltered raw honey that's going to go right on the top of it. I prefer to use the raw unfiltered. It's healthier for you, and it tastes great. So we just want to little drizzle right over the top. And this is really simple, just like that.
Wonderful. Is the honey there, that's to balance out kind of the saltiness with the chorizo and the cheese and olive?
Yeah, you got a little bit of heat from the chorizo, and what really balances out all together is the cheese, okay? So when you normally people eat cheese and crackers together, and then they eat salami with it. But also you add a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of the salty from the olive, and it just gives you a very well-balanced, well-rounded flavor. And you can see it really took me no time at all to cut the chorizo, no time to slice the cheese, or the olives come pre-prepared already. So it's basically putting them together. So if you're a person that is not really skilled in the kitchen, this is the reason why I chose these items today, because anyone can really prepare this. This is not, it doesn't take a lot of skill, and it doesn't take a long time to do it. You know, if you're coming home late from work and you really want to, do something nice for the person who always cooks for you, this is an easy way to do it. You know, you just throw some ingredients together. Same thing with the entree that we're going to make. It's not very hard. And this is part of the reason why I chose the items that I did, just so that way we can, make this available for everyone.
That's great. Definitely a good choice.
So I'm going to go ahead and put all my ingredients back. And then I'll let you and Lauren have a sample later.
Yes. Awesome. Appreciate that for sure. Does anyone have any questions for Chef Bryan at this point? Great.
And so the next item that I'm going to prepare for you is going to start our entree. And this is one of my favorite things to do, and one of my favorite things to make is the Salsa Aloha. It's just a red sauce. It's not super spicy. It's not. It's very well balanced. It has a little kick of heat to it, but it just is really nice flavor, and it's going to balance very well with our salmon. So what you're going to need is just a roasting pan, and then all the ingredients. So for the salsa, you're going to need 4 tomatillos, which these are a little bit larger, so I'm only going to go with 2 today. If they're large, you can definitely cut them down. Typically, you get them just a little bit smaller than, say, like this one, and 4 of these a little bit smaller than these would work perfect. Or if you have 2 large ones, the same. So I'm just going to slice them up. Cut them up, and just put them right on our pan, just like that. And 1 large ripe tomato. So this is a little bit larger than what we would really want on there, but this will work. I'm not going to take the core out because I'm going to puree it, so everything's just going to get blended right in. Put that directly on the pan as well. 1 large red bell pepper. We can also dice that up as well and throw in there. 4 garlic cloves. If they're smaller, you can put a little bit more. So I have 6 garlic cloves because 3 of them are really small. So go ahead and just throw those right on. And then 1 small jalapeno. Obviously, you can see this is not a small jalapeno, so we're only going to use half of this one. So I'm just going to cut it directly in half. Put the other half back. I'm going to leave the seeds in for this as well because I like heat. If you don't like it super spicy, if you think it is a little too spicy, you can take the seeds out as well. I'm going to leave them in. and then a half of a small red onion. So here I already had a large onion that I was working with earlier, so I just saved the small piece. This is about a quarter of the smaller onion that I'm going to use. So here's the other half. So the next thing we want to do is season our veggies here. We're going to roast this into the oven for about 30 minutes at 350. I'm going to use a convection oven, so it's going to cook a little bit faster for me. But if you're using it at home, it's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes to roast into the oven. Also, you'll want to make sure you season your veggies. So this is a salt and pepper mixed. Just a couple pinches of salt and pepper. Okay, just mix it up. And then into the oven it goes. I'll be right back.
So I'm curious at where everyone's located on the call today. Teresa, where are you located?
I'm located from Williamson, West Virginia. I'm Bryan's mother.
Thanks so much for joining us today. It's great to meet you, even virtually.
Yes.
We're very fortunate to have him here, and he's great. So thanks for joining us today. You're
welcome. I'm proud of him. Very proud of him.
Definitely should be. That's for sure.
So while that the vegetables are roasting, we're going to go ahead and prepare the rest of the ingredients for our entree. So I have my little burner here. And what I'm going to do is sear the salmon and get it going. So I'm going to turn on my pan and start to get it hot. And while we're waiting for our pan to heat up, I have the salmon fillets here. So you can get your salmon from anywhere. I get mine from my seafood vendor locally here in Illinois. But you can go to any grocery store or any fish market and get fresh salmon. I chose to go with wild salmon just because I prefer wild salmon. I like the taste of it. I can't get it right now, so which is good. So the only thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put some salt and pepper onto my salmon. Put a nice, generous amount of seasoning on there. And I'm going to use some of the butter that we had earlier we were working with. And a little bit of olive oil. So I like to mix the oil and butter together so that way the butter does not burn in the pan while it's cooking. So if you use straight butter, eventually it will burn. But if you add oil into it, if you cut it with oil, it won't burn as fast. It takes it a lot longer to burn. So our pan is heating up nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and put the oil in first. And about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to let that melt, and then you're going to start to hear it. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to take a couple of garlic cloves. I'm just going to smash them up. And so you can see they're just smashed. I'm not going to chop them. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to smash them just like that. And I'm going to put them into my butter. So while that's heating, it's just going to add another depth of flavor. I don't know if you can smell that more, but it's true.
It does. It's okay to use an already minced garlic. You recommend whole cloves, though, if you're able to?
It's best to use the whole cloves if possible. That's you're going to get your most flavor because it's not been processed already. The minced garlic is in water, and so while it's in water, you're going to lose some of that flavor. If you can get the whole cloves. And the whole cloves are, it's not so, they're going to be a little less expensive than the already processed minced cloves. If all you have on hand, yes, go ahead and use it. But you want to drain it a little bit first before you put it into the pan.
Okay.
So now that our pan is nice and hot, I'm going to add in my salmon. And I'm going to do the flesh side down first, okay? So you can see that this is the back side, which is called the skin side. I'm not going to sear that side first. I'm going to sear this side first, which is the flesh side. And this is what is going to be our presentation side. So you always want to sear that first. So we're going to get a nice good sear on that. Just add a little bit more butter. Because we're just going to finish these off in the oven. Once we get the sear on there, I like a nice hard sear on my salmon. I like texture. So I like to get a really nice hard sear and finish them off in the oven.
Jim and Kathy, can I ask where you're located?
We're here in Rockford.
In Rockford, great. And you're alums of Rockford College, Rockford University?
I am.
Just him.
I am.
Just him.
Wonderful. What class here?
84.
Great.
But it has a nice sear on it. And so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and get into the oven. So 1 second, I'll be right back.
Thanks so much, Jim and Kathy. We appreciate you being on today.
Well, thanks for having it.
Yeah. You'll have to let us know if you try the recipes, what you think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colleen, where are you located?
I'm right here in Rockford.
Wonderful. Enjoying the sunshine, hopefully today.
Oh, yes. I was out this morning. It's very nice.
Sure is a mood booster. That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
Garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up some garlic. Again, first I'm going to smash it. It just makes it easier to chop that way. In the pan, I put about 2 tablespoons of butter. So we're going to let that get nice and hot. And another thing that you might have seen on today's recipe that you're not really familiar with is spaghetti squash. So I feel that spaghetti squash is one of the most underutilized vegetables that you can get. It is extremely healthy, and it is an alternative to using starch. If you like pasta or potatoes, the spaghetti squash makes a great filler for that. So I have prepared 2 different ways today, the spaghetti squash. This one here, I cut it in half, and I roasted whole. I scooped out the inside, the seeds on the inside, and roasted it just in a pan plain. On a pan, I put this skin up, facing up, so you don't want to burn the inside of the spaghetti that you're going to use. And I also just boiled one entire whole spaghetti squash because these things are rock hard. They are so hard. And if you try to cut this while it's fresh, you can cut yourself. It can be a danger. So if you're not a professional like I am and have really sharp knives and a lot of experience with working with these squash, it can be really dangerous. And that's probably why a lot of people choose not to use them, because they don't really know what to do. They don't know how to use them. And hopefully, after today, you'll feel more comfortable in utilizing this product as well. So here it is raw, and then this one is roasted here. And then this one is the boiled one. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut. And I'm just waiting on my pan to get hot so we can cook the green beans. So since you see how easy it is now for me to cut this, now that it's steamed. And so what we'll do is just cut it, and then we'll scoop out the seeds.
So Hard to do that beforehand. I've almost had a few spaghetti squash incidents myself trying to cut those.
So I'll scoop out what we're not going to use, which is the seed part. And you can see you're left with this beautiful strands of squash here, and it's basically like spaghetti. So I'll get it on here. Nice and hot.
Bryan, how long do you boil the squash?
Until they're pork tender. It all depends on how long, you know, everyone is different. I put this into ours and it's steamed for about 30 to 40 minutes. So I have my fresh green beans in, I throw my fresh garlic. A little salt, pepper. And these are going to cook for about 5 minutes. And while those are sauteing there, I'm going to go ahead and scrape off the rest of the spaghetti squash. My bowl here. And you can see how easy this just comes out. It's just really easy. And then all you're left with is just the shell. I mean, you can put that into your compost or into the recycle, or into the trash, whatever you use. You know, if you have farm animals, you can leave a little bit behind and take it out to the animals, and they love it. You'll want to let it cool down a little bit before you start trying to scrape it out, okay? Because it'll be very hot once you get it once it stops boiling. Top. Let them finish cooking in the pan just like that. So you can see here, this is the boiled spaghetti squash here, and then the roasted has a little bit deeper yellowish color to it, almost orange. You know, because you don't have a lot of water going into it. So, and you can see though, it still comes off really easy, but it just gives you a more, for me, a more golden color, which I think is beautiful. The color paired very well with the salmon.
I've never thought of doing spaghetti squash with salmon, you're right. So I'm excited that you picked this.
A lot of the flavor of this dish is going to come from the salmon and the salsa aloha. Okay, I'm going to go check on our veggies in the oven to see how they look for the salsa aloha. And then we can come back and we can plate the salmon. I'll be right back.
Gary, where are you located? Oops, sorry, I just asked on you.
My wife and I are located out here in Phoenix, where Bryan used to work at several wonderful places, but his real claim to fame is he cooked for my middle daughter's wedding down in southern Arizona and put on a meal for over 150 people or so out in the middle of a farm. It was unbelievable.
That's incredible. That's so cool.
Okay.
We're so glad you're with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Of course. I wondered when you said Phoenix from our intro here. We know Bryan has a lot of history in Phoenix there.
Oh, boy. Does he ever.
All right, so while our veggies are not quite roasted yet, but before this started, I went ahead and made some veggies, the salsa roja, beforehand. So this is going to be my bowl that I'm going to plate it in so you can see that. Salmon is done, the green beans are done. And then I have the Salsa Aloha right here. So we're going to build our plate. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this spaghetti sauce. Make me a nice little mound here. You know I'm using the roasted one, of course. I'm going to give me a few of the sauteed green beans. I'm going to put directly right over top of this spaghetti squash here. Get one of my sandwich glaze. Put it directly right over the top. And then I have the salsa aloha right here, which I've curated, and I can take you through that process in just a minute on what I did for that. A couple spoons of the salsa, a little fresh cilantro. I'm just going to break it up right over the top. There you go. Just like that.
That looks amazing. Good job.
It's really simple and really easy, and it didn't take very long at all.
No. I need to get some like that at home though, because it looks so much cooler in that serving like that.
Right. You can get these bowls and a lot of this plateware that we use at Crate and Barrel. They have a really nice selection of plates. There's another store, I think Hobby Lobby has some stuff, or there's another store, I can't think of it, it's slipping my mind right now, but where you can get really nice plates and stuff. Also, order online. There's a lot of places, Amazon, Overstock, you know, they have a lot of really cool plates and stuff like that as well.
Awesome.
So, go ahead.
Oh, just said awesome.
Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go check and see if our chocolate has set up enough to where we can make our desserts now. So 1 second and I'll be right back.
Great. All right. Michael, you're not too far from Rockford here. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're up in South Beloit.
Wonderful. Hope you both are doing well today.
So our chocolate's not set up yet. So what I can do now is just go ahead and take you through the process of the salsa. 1 second while I grab the veggies.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm going to put my roasted vegetables into the food processor. If you don't have a food processor at home, you could also put it into a bain-marie or a tall container to use a hand mixer to mix it as well. I'm going to use the food processor here. It may get loud for a second. Get the rest of my ingredients, then my red wine vinegar, sugar, salt and pepper. I'm going to need a little bit more oil. I'm going to put a little pinch of salt and pepper in here. I'm going to put about 1 ounce of the red wine vinegar. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar. And if you find that this is a little too sweet, you can definitely take that sugar down as well.
that? We can't even hear it.
So now that I have curated a little bit, I want to go ahead and add some fresh cilantro. You want to curate it just a few minutes, few seconds before you add in the fresh cilantro. All this is processing.
I want to give a shout out to Sodexo as well. Some of you may have heard that we were unable to have our gala in person this year due to everything going on. So we're hosting No-Go Gala, which Sodexo generously sponsored in lieu of the food they typically provided for our gala. So the No-Go Gala is just to raise money for our nursing program here on campus. And we appreciate Sodexo, you know, supporting campus in that way beyond all that they already do. So pretty lucky to have them as our campus partners.
So once I have all the ingredients blended together, I'm going to put it into a strainer. So what I have is just a China cap strainer here. Any kind of strainer that you have at home will work. Not really a strainer that you would use to strain spaghetti, but one with a little bit of smaller holes in it will work as well. So I'm just going to pour my salsa in here. And I'm just going to take my spoon and kind of swirl it around and get just the liquid out. That's really what I want. So that'll leave the bits behind. And I'll give it a final taste. Delicious. And then you just set that aside while you wait for the rest of your ingredients. You can make this a day in advance. If you want it cold and then reheat it gently in the saucepan the next day, or you can make it just before you're going to be serving your entree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go check the chocolate to see if it's set, ready to go.
So Colleen, when was the last time you were on campus?
Probably been about a year. I'm part of the artist ensemble group that's there, but we haven't been there for about a year. Yeah,
for a while now. Well, we're hoping some point soon we can have everyone safely back. So
maybe next year. Yeah,
hopefully.
So our chocolate is setting up. We definitely want some gloves on for this. So you can see I'm able to put my finger in and it stays. So, you know, that's how I know it's ready. Get my chocolate sprinkles.
Gotta have the sprinkles.
So this is really easy, just chocolate sprinkles. So you get a little bit of this chocolate into your hand. You roll it up into a ball. Put it into your sprinkles. Just like that, it's done. Take my glove here. So a little bit soft. You want to make sure that it's still, make sure it's pretty firm before you start working with the chocolate. There you go, just like that. Just make a little ball, dip it into the sprinkles.
Yum, that looks very good.
All right, so that is pretty much it and what we're going to be serving today. So here you go, your appetizer, your entree, and your dessert.
I'm so impressed. I can't believe you made all of that in about 45 minutes. That's amazing. And it looks delicious too. Does anybody have any questions for Chef Bryan on the recipes or anything else? Feel free to either raise your hand or unmute yourself if you'd like to ask any questions or give any shout outs.
I just want to tell Bryan I'm proud of him.
Prepared your roasted squash. What did you do? Did you just slice it or did you boil it and then roast it?
Just cut it in half and took out the seeds raw. So I did it raw. I mean, if you feel up for it and you want to take the challenge, by all means, go ahead and try to cut it in half. But that's, you really want to be careful, especially if you're not familiar with handling, that kind of. It's similar to a butternut squash. So if someone has worked with butternut squash before, butternut squash are really hard. They're really hard to cut and peel. But once you get them peeled and cleaned, they're really a beautiful vegetable. It's the same thing. You can also use a cleaver as well to cut it if you have a cleaver. Just make sure when you're chopping it, your other hand is out of the way.
Good
Understand.
idea.
Thank you.
I want to know the difference between a tomatillo and a regular tomato.
So tomatillo is it's a green variety. It's a husk vegetable. It's more like a cherry or a fruit than a regular tomato. So they're a husk. They grow on a tree.
Oh.
They're not they don't grow on a vine like a tomato does.
Okay.
Even though tomatoes are technically a fruit, the same goes with the tomatillos. They're just a different variety of husk fruit.
Bryan?
Like a goji berry, tomatillos, and there's different varieties of tomatillos as well. It's the same, like there's different varieties of tomatoes.
Okay. Thank you.
Bryan,
go ahead, Mary.
What would you use in place of cilantro?
In the Salsa Aloha?
Yes.
You could use fresh parsley if you wanted, but also basil as well would be a really nice flavor in there, in a component as well.
Thank you.
A hand raised here.
You're welcome, Mary Rose. That was Mary Rose asking a question, wasn't it?
It was.
He's a great neighbor.
She's awesome.
He is.
She grows the most beautiful flowers.
Oh, he has the greatest family. So there, it's over.
I love it. That is awesome.
Do you need any volunteers to eat that now, Bryan?
I think we got some people lined up, Pastor Gary, that's waiting to try this.
I guess it's too far away.
Yeah, we could probably send one through the mail. Or maybe if I get a chance to head out to Phoenix, here in the next few months, we'll make one at your house.
Yeah, you better be careful. We won't let you go back to Chicago. We'll fight over them.
Yeah.
We had a hand raised a second ago. Was there one more question out there? All right. Well, I know I am very excited to try these recipes. We've been starting to cook salmon a little more at our home, getting a little better, but I think this recipe will help. So very excited, and we really appreciate you doing this, Bryan. I just want to let everybody know that we'll be continuing to offer virtual events for our alumni and our community on and off campus. We've really enjoyed cooking segments and hope that you all have too, and we're hoping to continue these. And we also have coming up next month, we have a virtual floral arrangement class. We've partnered with alumna Erin Staffordson, who's class of 2011. She owns event Floral here in Rockford. So for $45, you can sign up and pick up the flowers as well as the holder that we'll be using, and then she will walk us through how to make a springtime arrangement. So we're really looking forward to that event. And you can always check out our website, rockford.edu. On the alumni tab, we have an events section that links to our Alumni Learning Consortium, where we host a bunch of webinars that are available to our alumni and community members, as well as our Brown Bag series here on campus. So about every 2 weeks, we have faculty or staff members presenting on their area of expertise, and that's all done through Zoom. So we'd welcome you all to attend those. And of course, if you ever have any event suggestions, please don't hesitate to let us know. We want to provide programming that you all are excited about and want to provide ways for you to continue connecting with each other and with those here on campus as well. So thanks so much again, everybody. If there are any remaining questions or comments, please feel free to unmute yourselves. But we just really appreciate everybody signing on today and hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful weekend.
Thank you.
Nicole, you did a wonderful job. Thank you for hosting.
Thanks so much for hopping on. Appreciate it. It's been fun to get to host these events virtually and to try something new. So appreciate it.
And all you folks in Illinois, if you get tired of shoveling snow later, come out and see us in Phoenix.
Yep, definitely felt tired of the snow as of last week. So I'm glad to see it melting a little bit.
All right. Thank you so much. Wonderful job for everyone.
Thank you, Bryan.
Bryan.
Thank you, Bryan.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Chef.
You can cook me some when you come home.
Yes, exactly. Everybody will have this recording available on our ALC website where you signed up as well. So if you'd like to rewatch to follow the recipes, we'll have that available. But thanks so much. Thanks, Chef Fred.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Love you, son. Love you.
Love you, Mama.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.